was actually pretty good. There were a few that I think made silly mistakes. Sometimes we go through the question and maybe read it wrong because we're in a rush, and sometimes we sit on that question and go through our head and change our answer where we just got to be okay with it. I know that's hard to understand. So sometimes you overthink and sometimes you don't think at all. So you got to have the happy medium in that, right? So for the most part, it was pretty good.
Okay, so Mrs. Wilson has the test.
You want me to pass them out before
Created?
you start? I have them all right there.
Okay. And we'll give you what? 10 minutes? 5? 10?
I think 10 would be good.
Okay, so we'll give you guys 10 minutes. You guys can correct your test. Make sure you just put the answer beside. We don't need to erase, okay? That way sometimes too you might want to look back and see what answer you had. But we'll start a timer and we'll just do 10 minutes. Is everybody's good with that? Okay? Use your books. Use your notes. Ask questions if you need it. And what you say, true and false, we cannot correct?
Yep. If there's a letter next to it, you can't correct it. If there is a letter next to it,
But you just read it.
yep. You may use your notes, your book, all of that. If you have a question, you think you read it somewhere, please show me. Okay? I do make mistakes, so please show me. But we are not talking to our neighbor on it. We should not be talking.
That was when she told you how many true and false were, so don't worry about that. Well, look through your text. Probably mark them.
Read.
Ah!
Oh, it says I got 3 wrong on the print sheet.
No, 3 wrong total.
When I circle it, that's how many are wrong in the whole thing.
Okay.
The circled number is how many you have wrong in the whole one. And your timer has started.
Just put your answer right beside. She'll know that this is your new answer. Yep. And then I think you have a video today.
That goes with the book,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yes. I'll pull that up.
So really, I can only fix one of these because all the rest have answered. So yeah, because I eliminated it. So
Having a day, huh?
Oh, that one you switched. And yeah.
Sorry.
It was silly.
When you're done, you can hand it back in the tray.
Okay, make sure even if you're done correcting, we're not talking. If you'd like to work on doing your IXL or you have a score of 100 you would like to show me. So far, the only one I have is Kylie. Kylie is the only one I have so far.
There's 11 words.
Sarah and Josie. Sorry.
No, that's right. I'm changing this.
I probably marked it wrong. Yep.
Yes. bang them like one upon another and have dead people roll about in the streets in their longing for water near all the fountains. For example, water themselves. So, what were they doing that? What are they talking about here that shows that they quit caring? It was so overpowering, not knowing what to do to become with them. So were they living in temples or were they dying by fountains?
There is, where,
Oh.
this one?
Was their desire for water?
Yeah.
Or they were sheltered or they were living by in the temples?
Let's finish that, you have some thoughts, I think you need 2 more sentences on that,
Okay.
right? So go back.
Alright, guys.
IXL. So go back,
Here's one of
go back. And then you should go to I, you're at 18. So that must have been all you got to. You can refresh it, go back to refresh it.
You have your IXL done?
Not yet.
You should go get your computer and finish that.
So if you close out of it and come back, it should, no matter where you're at. Okay, thank you.
It's I one. It was on one. I got it on.
There you go. I refresh it, close out of it, and refresh it. There you go.
Trying multiple times. I got it. Yay. So there's nothing else for me to do on the account.
So did you refresh it and go back?
No. Okay, so we're gonna start.
How many still have a test?
I think just 3 of them.
Okay, so you guys got about 3 minutes. We have to, after the lesson, they can.
Yeah.
finish. You go back to your, yeah, your Excel where it shows
Okay, I'll give you time. Okay. How much will you do? Okay. We're gonna start, but I'll give you time at the end, okay?
You guys wanna give me your test?
Yep.
Keep them for now?
Okay, we're gonna start, so you guys can close up your iExcel.
It'll just take you right back when you go back to it, guys, so it's fine.
We're gonna talk about Greek first. Okay, we're gonna start a new chapter, finally. Hopefully this one isn't as long as the last one. I think it is. Yeah. Yep, and we're gonna start with chapter 8 and talk about the Greek civilization, so that starts on page 209. And you guys have 11 words due by Monday. Okay?
You said 209.
209. Yep. We're going to talk about some things that we've already mentioned, and we're going to add to them. Just out of curiosity, what makes a culture unique? Religions make them unique. What else can make a culture unique?
Like different things, like their traditions.
Traditions, differences from you. Okay. How do new ideas change the way people live? How do new ideas change? You know, 30 years ago, we didn't have cell phones and all this stuff. How are new ideas changing the way people live?
Talk to different friends on.
What's that called when you can talk to someone, like just call them up and talk to them? What's it called? Yeah, but what's it called when I can, if I need to talk to Mrs. Wilson, I can just text her really fast?
Communicate.
How about convenience? Yeah, convenience. Is it convenient? Now I don't have to go and find a landline and dial the numbers. I can just push a button, right? So convenience. So we're going to start talking about the Greek civilization. Anybody know who this man is in the picture? Alexander the Great. We talked about him a little bit, didn't we, earlier? How he was an amazing leader. He actually achieved a lot of things when he was very young, and he is still considered one of the greatest leaders of all time. So we're going to start by reading. And this chapter is kind of fun. We're going to start talking about the gods and goddesses that they had. Do anybody know? What's an idea? Who do you think would be a Greek god? Zeus. You guys think Zeus was a Greek god? Who else was a god or goddess? Tommy? Poseidon. Who was Poseidon?
God of the water.
God of the sea? Whose dad was he? What book did we read? Percy Jackson, huh? He wasn't really Percy Jackson's. Well, maybe he was in the book, but yes. Who else? Name another one, Base. Hades. Who is Hades?
The god of the
Underworld. What's another one? Ooh, who's Aphrodite? She's beautiful. God of beauty. Yes. Trayden, you know another one? Paris?
No,
Eris. Oh, Aries?
Yeah.
Who is he? War. Janie, you know another one?
Hera? H-E-R-A?
Hera.
Hera, the god of the
the Marcus, so I bet he had a lot to do with those agoras, huh? Alright, let's start reading and we will talk. They're called the 12 Olympians, and we will talk about them. Well, let's get started. Who would like to begin our chapter? The story matters. We're going to start right at the beginning. Oh, 9. Hold on. Minus Wade. There you go. There you go. Yep. Okay, go ahead.
Alexander became king of Macedonia when he was only 20 years old. Before his death at age 32, he built the largest empire the world has known. His strong will and personality enabled him to lead armies to victory. He is considered one of the greatest generals who ever lived.
He was only 20 years old when he started out. He died at only 32.
So
But in 12 years, he accomplished more things than most people accomplish in their lifetimes. Okay, who would like to read the next paragraph? Kylie?
Alexander's childhood tutor
Tutor.
was the Greek philosopher
Aristotle.
Aristotle, who encouraged Alexander's interest in philosophy, medicine, and science. As an adult, Alexander spread Greek art, ideas, language, and architecture into all the lands he conquered. The impact of his rule lasted for centuries.
Perfect. We're going to talk a little bit. He does, yes. But he was even more great.
Yeah, like
Yes.
philosopher and art and stuff.
How do you think that teenage boys or childhood back in those days was different than childhood or teenage years these days? What are the differences? What?
Like they have to be a lot tougher.
They were a lot tougher back in the day?
phones.
No phones. Do you think that mattered?
No air.
What would you do if you guys didn't have phones?
You would go play outside.
Go outside? Would you guys maybe read some more? Would you maybe do stuff with your hands more, like activities? So it sounds like we need to get rid of phones, huh? Yeah? You guys are okay with that? They're also good in ways. What are some good things we can do with phones? Call people, emergencies, text, get a hold of our family and friends.
SOS.
Emergencies, yep. Okay, so, but back in the day, I bet that childhood, you had maybe a lot more responsibilities from an earlier age. Worked harder? Yes, okay. Well, I just want to give you a little side note that Alexander became king at a young age after his father, Philip II, was assassinated. Alexander went on to fulfill his father's dreams of conquering the Persian Empire and creating a Hellenistic, Hellenes, what's a Hellene? Greeks, yes, or Greek-influenced empire. He also died at a young age, but the influence of Greek culture lived on throughout the lands he conquered. Even after the end of the Hellenistic, so that's, we're going to call this the Hellenistic era, okay? The Romans who conquered much of Alexander's former empire were strongly influenced by Greek culture. Let's go to the next page. This is the geography that we're going to talk about of the Greek civilization. The Greeks are remembered for their advances in the study of science, philosophy, mathematics, and arts. What's philosophy?
Philosophy, it's like the study.
Study of good? How about the study of thinking?
Yes.
It's your thought processes, okay? Why do you think like that? Why? Okay? When Alexander the Great conquered the Persian Empire, he spread Greek culture and ideas throughout the Southwest Asia and Mediterranean area. Let's look at this map here. Which continent is Alexandria located on? Please raise your hand. Trevor. Africa. Everybody agree?
Yeah.
All right. What happened? Now, bear with me. What happened at Charonia? Raise your hand. Waverly? You guys all see Charonia?
Oh, yeah.
A major battle. Yes. All right. Let's see here. Can you guys find the Battle of Gaugamela? Okay, this Battle of Gaugamela is one of the most important tests of Alexander's conquest because it would determine who would control the enormous Persian Empire. Where was the Persian Empire located on that map? Remember from our last chapter?
Modern day Iran.
Modern day Iran. But if I look at this map, which area? Most of the most of the yellow, right? That was the Persian Empire. So Alexander expanded it a lot more, didn't he? Yep, okay. So then we have the timeline on the bottom. We have ancient Greece on the top and the world on the bottom. How old was Alexander when he defeated Darius? Look down here, it's all in the timeline.
Oh.
What year did he defeat him? 331 BC. When was Aristotle born? Or I mean Alexander born? Does it say?
No.
Are you sure? Let's see here.
Oh, yeah, it just says when he dies.
So that's when he dies.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait.
What does it say?
Well, it said he was 32 when he died.
32 when he died. Huh. I thought that it would say when he was born, but it just says when he died. You were right. You were correct. Huh. We'll have to find out when he was born. Maybe we'll read about it. Let's go on to lesson 1. We're going to talk about Greek culture. We're going to talk about the Greek gods and goddesses and how they made many advancements that continue to shape our world. We're still using stuff today. So who would like to begin reading? Swain?
We believe you have learned that the ancient Greeks formed city-states. These are independent states made up of a city and the land that surrounds it. All three city-states separated Greece
Politically?
politically. The Greek people were united by a common culture. They spoke the Greek language. They shared many beliefs and customs. The Greek people also believed many of the sayings or traditional stories about gods and heroes. Greek myths express the religious beliefs of the ancient Greeks.
Okay, so we have a vocab term there. Myths, or a traditional story about gods and heroes. Who were the Greek gods? Evelyn?
Like other people of the ancient world, the Greeks believed in gods and goddesses. The Greeks, however, did not think of their gods as all-powerful beings. In Greek myths, the god had green powers, but they look and act like human beings. In Greek
Mythology.
they marry and have children. At times, they act like children playing with each other. Because the gods showed human qualities, the Greek people did not fear them. The Greeks believed that the 12 most important gods and goddesses lived on Mount
Olympus?
Olympus, Greece's highest mountain. A gate of clouds protected Olympus. The gods could not come in as they pleased, but humans were stopped from entering through the gates of clouds.
Okay, so the Greek gods, were they viewed as perfect? What were they viewed as? Like humans. So what were some of the characteristics that were like human? What was something they were like a human?
That they were married and have children.
Married and have children. What was another? They played tricks on each other. They looked like humans, right? What were some of the things though that made them more than a human though? That godlike? Powers. And what was one? Where did they live?
In the clouds.
Mount Olympus. Could they come and go as they pleased?
Yes.
Yes. Could humans come?
No.
No. So that is how they were more than a human because of their powers and where they lived. But they were human-like. They married. They had children. They played tricks.
Isn't that shown in like Hercules?
Oh, Hercules. We might have to find some clips. Huh. Yep. All right. Let's talk about Zeus. Mommy?
Zeus was the king of the Olympian gods, while Athena was the goddess of wisdom and facts. Apollo was worshipped as the god of the sun and poetry. People looked up to Aphrodite,
And with Aphrodite.
the goddess of love. She fierce gods were Ares, the god of war, and Poseidon, the god of the season.
Perfect. So how many did she talk about right there? Zeus, Athena, Apollo, Aphrodite, Ares, Poseidon. So we had 6 right there. Okay, and how many are there total?
12.
Okay, alright, let's talk about the next paragraph. Brooke?
All Greeks worshipped Zeus as their chief god. Each city-state also chose one god or goddess as its protector. To win the favor of the god, the people of the city-state performed rituals. A ritual is an action that is part of a religious ceremony. The people worshipped the god in temples and at home. They prayed and often offered gifts to the god. Throughout these rituals, the Greeks hoped the god would reward them.
Okay, by raising your hand, who was the main god, the chief god? Who was the main one? Sharon? Zeus. Did all the towns worship the same ones, or did they have certain ones?
Well, they all worship.
They all worshipped. Did they worship the same one? Who did Athens worship? Athena, right? Yep. Okay. Who do you think, which god or goddess protected the city of Athens? We said Athena. Now, how do you think, do you guys see Athena on there?
Yeah.
She's at the bottom. You see this chart? How do you think that Hera, goddess of marriage, and Athena were related?
Well, it was her.
Hmm?
Hera was her. Hera was her aunt.
Hera was her aunt. How do you,
Because
Trevor, tell me how do you figure that out?
I'll put in the corner that in the green that brothers and sisters of Zeus and
Who were the brothers and sisters of Zeus?
Hera, Hades, and Poseidon.
Hestia. Okay, so those were the brothers and sisters of Zeus. And then the children of Zeus were the blue ones, which were
Artemis, Apollo, Hermes, Aphrodite, Ares, and Athena.
so Athena was Zeus's daughter, and Hera was his sister. That makes Athena is Hera's what? Athena is Hera's
Niece.
Hera is Athena's aunt. Okay? You guys see how you read that chart?
Do you think Ares was like Sparta's?
You think Ares was Sparta's god that they maybe gave rituals to?
Yeah.
Why would she say that? God of war, and what did they? War, right? That's a very good guess. I'm sure we will find out. Yep. All right, let's go on to the next page. Actually, we have a short video. Let me see. We can finish this little section here, and then I'll show the video. Who would like to read the next paragraph? Kylie?
Festivals honoring the gods and goddesses were an important part of Greek life. Each city-state scheduled public feasts and sacrifices. Every 4 years, Greek athletes took part in athletic competitions. These games were for the greater glory of Zeus. They were held at the city of Olympia and were called the Olympic Games. Beginning in 776 BC, the ancient Olympic Games took place for more than 1,000 years. The first modern Olympics were held in 1896 in Athens.
All right, so what do we have every 4 years? The Olympics. Is that amazing or hard to believe that even that long ago they went 4 years and we are still carrying out that tradition today? We haven't changed it to every 2 years. We haven't changed it to every 18 months. It's the same, isn't it? That is crazy, huh? The Greeks believed their gods would be pleased if people showed skill in the arts, in athletic games, or in thinking. Let's talk about the Greek oracles quick. Waverly?
The Greeks believed that each person had a fate or destiny. Certain events were going to happen no matter what they did. They also believed in
Prophecy?
prophecy or prediction about future in time to change it.
Alright, so they believed in fate and they wanted answers, right? Let's read this last, I guess there's two little paragraphs there. Listen,
An oracle.
how about to find out about the future?
Oh yeah. To find out about the future, many Greeks visited an oracle. This was a sacred shrine where a priest or priestess spoke for a god. The most famous oracle at the temple of
Delphi.
Delphi.
Of Apollo at Delphi, yeah.
At Delphi. The oracle chamber was deep inside the temple. The room had an opening in the floor where volcanic smoke released from a crack in the roof.
Go ahead, finish that.
There was there a priest.
Juniors and seniors interested in Lake Area Tech, please make your way to the lunchroom. Juniors and seniors for Lake Area Tech.
Sat on the stool and listened to questions. The priest translated her answers. State leaders or their messengers traveled to Delhi to ask advice from the oracle of Apollo.
Alright, so they would go and seek advice from these oracles, right? They wanted to know the answers. So this one in particular is the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. And here you'd have this priestess sitting in a room and this volcanic smoke would come up and she's sitting on a... Do you think that added to the dramatic effect?
Yeah.
Do you think if you went in there and there was smoke rising up and all of a sudden you might ask a question and there's more smoke, that's going to actually make you think that she knows what she's talking about? Yes. Alright, so that is where a lot of statesmen would go and ask questions. We will play this video here quick.
Are we done reading today?
Do I go here, open, right?
What? Oh, yep, here, I can do it. You got it? Yep, here we go.
Are we done reading?
Yes, we are done reading. We will pick up tomorrow.
Just keep your books at your spot right now while they're watching the movie. You can do it after that. Have a seat, please. Thank you.
Alright.
The ancient Greeks believed that their gods were all powerful. In their world, all of nature was in the hands of the gods, and so was the fate of mortals or humans. The gods themselves were immortal, and their home was believed to be Mount Olympus. Zeus was the father of the gods, the king of the Olympians. His symbol of power was the thunderbolt. All the other Greek gods and goddesses had their own areas of power. The god Apollo saw to the rising and setting of the sun by driving his mighty chariot across the heavens. Poseidon, the earth shaker, ruled the seas and earthquakes. Athena was goddess of wisdom and war. She was born from the head of her father Zeus, fully grown and armed for battle. Aphrodite was the goddess of love and beauty, with power over mortals and immortals alike. And Hades, brother to Zeus and Poseidon, was god of the underworld and lord of the dead. Although the gods were immortal, they were very human in their nature. They got angry, they took revenge if they felt insulted, they fell in love, and they got jealous. The Greek gods were deeply involved in the life of mortals on earth. They punished those they did not like, and they helped their favorites. Many of the mortals whose lives were most touched by the gods were famous heroes. One famous Greek hero was the warrior Achilles, who fought at the Battle of Troy. His mother Thetis was a sea nymph or immortal maiden. His father was a mortal man, King Peleus. When Achilles was an infant, his mother Thetis knew that she could not make him immortal, so she dipped him into a sacred river to protect him from harm. But she held the baby Achilles by his heel, so his heel remained unprotected. This is where our expression an Achilles heel comes from. It means a person's hidden weak spot.
Did you guys know that?
We know of Achilles because he is one of the main characters in the epic poem, the Iliad, written by the Greek poet Homer. The Iliad tells the story of how a Trojan prince named Paris fell in love with the beautiful wife of a Greek king and took her away with him to Troy. The Trojan War began when the army of Greeks, over 50,000 men, sailed to Troy to take back Helen and fight for their honor. Troy was a real city, and the ruins of Troy dating back thousands of years have been excavated by many archaeologists. As Homer tells the story in the Iliad, the Trojan War dragged on for 10 years, and it was the gods who controlled the fate of Troy. So the Battle of Troy becomes a battle between armies, between heroes, and between gods. In the end, the hero Achilles fights one-on-one with Prince Hector of Troy and kills him. Afterwards, the Greeks smuggle themselves inside the city walls in a huge wooden horse that the Trojans believed to be a peace offering. Inside the walls of Troy, the Greek warriors jump out and capture the city. But Achilles meets his fate at the hands of Paris, the brother of Hector. Paris shoots an arrow at Achilles. It strikes his heel, and because this part of his body is unprotected, Achilles dies. Homer portrays this as the will of the gods. Achilles gains what he wants most, eternal fame, but he must pay with his life. For the ancient Greeks, the gods were always a part of daily life.